This is Shiloh. This is where, when Joshua led the tribes into the land, this is where they came and divided the country.
Oh, okay.
So this is where they divided up the promised land and gave each tribe their specific location.
So they had a council here, or?
Well, it was kind of like a council.
Okay.
And then, of course, this is where they had brought the tabernacle in the wilderness. Now they set it up here in Shiloh. So this is where the prophets ruled from. It was where Joshua divided the land. This is where Eli lived, because he served at the tabernacle. He was the prophet, the priest, and this is where people came to worship. This is where a childless couple came to pray. Hannah prayed fervently that she might be given a child, and she was so intense that her lips were moving, but she didn't make any sound. And Eli, the prophet, thought she was mocking the Lord, or thought she was drunk. And she said, "No, I'm not drunk. I'm broken because I don't have a child." And so he prayed or prophesied, and she went home. She had promised if she had a son, she would give him to the Lord. So that's what happened. Samuel was born, and when he reached a certain age and was weaned, she brought him back here from Ramah, which we passed on the route to here today. She brought him here from Ramah, and he was raised here. This is where he was, sleeping, when he heard the voice of the Lord call him. He thought it was Eli, and he went and said, "Here I am." And Eli said, "I didn't call you, go back to sleep." So it happened again, and then Eli recognized this boy's hearing from God. So he told him, "Next time it happens, just say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant heareth.'" So that's what happened, and that's how Samuel was called to be a prophet and a man of God. So it was from here that the men of Israel took the ark of the Lord out against the Philistines, and of course it was captured. And when news of that came back here to Eli, Eli was an old man. The Bible said he was heavy, he was blind. He fell and broke his neck and died because the ark of the Lord had been stolen. And so this was Shiloh. This was the place that was the tabernacle of the Lord for many, many years in Israel. So this is what we're going to take a look at now.
Set upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. Sorry, it gets me. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart only, her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken thereto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him.
How do you feel standing here at Shiloh?
It's incredible.
Speechless.
This is where the tabernacle was and the capital of Israel for 369 years. During all of the judges up until the time that the tabernacle was destroyed by the Philistines in the time of Eli. But this is where for longer than the United States and longer than Canada has been in existence, the capital of Israel was here, Shiloh, and the exact spot of the tabernacle right here.
It's amazing.
So the Holy of Holies would have been here. The door would have faced toward the east. The Holy of Holies would have been here. The wall around, the courtyard back there, and the altar. And the people would have, of all of Israel, would have camped on all these hills, all the way around. Everything you can see here, they would have camped. They would have brought their families, and they would have camped and been gathered all around. It would have been a time of celebration.
It's amazing. Here it is. Verified again.
So the tabernacle was here. The tabernacle at Shiloh, right here. The back wall would have been here, kind of where this back fence is. The side walls would have run parallel to in front of us this way and over there. That means the Holy of Holies would have been right here and the Ark of the Covenant right in there. The curtain would have been here. The golden altar would have been right out there in front of the curtain. Close to us, along this wall, would have been the golden candlesticks. Over against the other wall, opposite it, would have been the table of shewbread, the golden altar. Outside the door of the tabernacle would have been the courtyard with the altar of burnt incense and the brazen laver. They would have come in from that direction. East is that way.
Right.
So they would have come in, they would have washed, they would have offered their sacrifice. Those that were allowed would have come into the holy place, which is right here. They would have offered incense on the golden altar. And the high priest once a year would go behind the curtain and he would sprinkle blood on the Ark of the Covenant there on the Day of Atonement. This is where it happened.
It's amazing to be standing in it.
So this was the tabernacle that was built by the Israelites in the wilderness. The tabernacle and the articles in the tabernacle that were built by them in the wilderness after they came out of Egypt under the direction of Moses, after Moses went up to Mount Sinai and God gave him the instructions. And after 40 years in the wilderness and the conquest of Canaan, this is where it came and rested, and this was the capital of Israel for 369 years.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.